enough way, but also very effective for fertilizing. And if you haven't heard the term before, chicken tractor, you can see over here on the left-hand side, or my left, two different variations. Basically, a chicken tractor just means it's a mobile chicken coop. You can move it around and set up home in different places. Benefits there include less cleanup, as Josh mentioned. You're having a mobile, little bits of fertilization going on as opposed to one big cleanup, so you can keep that from having to do the scooping. You can also use them as stationary at times. Say you had a prepared bed, as I was mentioning earlier. You could put the chicken tractor over the raised bed or the area you plan to garden in, and let that be the fertilization going on. Let them get that good and prepared for the time you're ready to use it. The big thing on whatever style you go with is security. And you're going to want to make sure whatever housing you pick, that you consider good design that keeps predators out. And that's anything and everything that you could imagine. From your dog, raccoon, opossum, hawk, snake, rodent, anything that could, like, if you like chicken, something is always going to want to have your chicken more than you. So keep that in mind. Hardware cloth, as you'll see on Josh's coop over there, you can see the hardware cloth, and you can see that will keep raccoons or other animals from coming in and trying to grab piecemeal the information out. So keep that in mind there. That being said, those are kind of some of the biggest points to consider. I will come back to the whole chicken integration too. The chicken integration being asked for, well, I'll start with that question at the end. So that's kind of the overview of gardening with chickens. And now to move to the questions, we'll go with the integration. What you're going to want to do with flocks, chickens are known for pecking. And if you never want to introduce, if you can avoid it, one chicken to an established group, it will probably peck it to death. You can, but there's more strength in numbers if you have two where they're not going, you're the new kid, and just staring it down and pecking. When you do introduce, you want to introduce overnight, preferably. You want to stick the new chickens in onto the roost while they're all sleeping. When they wake up, they just think, oh, how'd you get here, and are less likely to be as aggressive. Age-wise, you want the chickens to be similar age and size if you can. So 4 months plus, I would say, if you've got some new babies, or chicks, and they raised, and you had some that were 1 year or older, at least 4 or 5 months, I would say, to introduce them so that they're on the same feed, they're a little bigger and can take care of themselves. And I would always make sure that whatever your chicken design, it's always good to have some little place where they can hide, whether it's behind a laying box or something, so that sometimes they're also out of sight, out of mind. They just kind of will leave them alone if they don't. So, does that answer some of your questions? Great. Yes, ma'am. So integrating bantam chickens, for those who are new, there's two main sizes of chickens. There's your standard size, which is your full-grown, and bantam, which I'll say are the mini-me. They're about a quarter, maybe a third the size, depending on the breed, than a full-size chicken. They still lay, and they follow the breed's characteristics of whatever breed they are. So if you have a leghorn, which is known for laying good eggs, a bantam leghorn is going to lay well, just going to be a lot smaller in eggs. I guess you can integrate. Who here has integrated? Same rules apply, you say? Yes, the night's the big thing. Do it at night. Never if you leave them in the afternoon, in the middle of the day. They'll just go at it relentlessly. Yeah, so if you guys didn't hear, bantam rooster shows some attitude, to beat up. That seems to be something within the nature. If you notice, the Chihuahuas are always the ones who are, ferociously barking at the bigger dogs, and sounds like the bantams are sometimes showing the attitude. Maybe that makes up for their size going on. Any other? Yes, sir.
Do you have to have a rooster?
Do you have to have a rooster for eggs? Very common question. No, you do not. Now, if you need a rooster, one of the times you would want a rooster, obviously if you want to raise baby eggs, like have hatched chicks, you need a rooster. They do offer a level of protection in terms of I've had both chickens with roosters and in a flock and without. And when they don't have a rooster, they seem to be a little bit more carefree girls, go their own way, do whatever they want. And when there's a rooster, there's much more tightness and concentric. It's a very tight unit. And usually the rooster's the one who puts out the cry of alert if something's going on. And generally you'll find the girls will go run the hens under something for cover. And if anyone's going to get, so to speak, lost, it might be the rooster in the fight. In the city of Austin, you are allowed to raise both chickens, which includes hens and rooster. Knowing that at night, if they tend to be louder overnight, it's really effective when there's some kind of fully ventilated but in full enclosure for the roosters. I have a tractor that has it's wooded on all sides with ventilation boxes, and my rooster is quiet. And it has to do with, I think, that they see infrared light. So when we perceive dawn, they've perceived it a good deal before. And since they are the guardians, they hear things more easily if there isn't that muffling. So just a little extra information there. Other questions? Yes, sir.
What about if you go on vacation? Got somebody that you go for 2 or 3 days on the town, a week?
Very common question coming up nowadays. Chicken sitting, or what do you do with your chickens when you go on vacation? And a lot of groups like Backyard Poultry Meetup, I know, has a list of people who've indicated they will chicken sit. I guess the question is, how long can a chicken go on its own without care? Would be kind of a way to put that. I think it depends on how you design your coop and your setup, because I probably would feel okay leaving my chickens for maybe 1 day, maybe 2, without intervention, because I have oversized it, meaning there's more space than they need. I have multiple water sources. I have a feeder, and if I've left it clean, I think they would be okay. But I would want someone checking in if I were gone any longer than that. If nothing else, just to make sure something unexpected didn't happen. And the best way to do that, I find, is to neighborhood kind of patrol. I find people usually within a 10-15 minute radius are willing to do chicken swaps in terms of chicken sitting. And it's best if you can to get someone who has chickens. But when we first started and didn't know, we had a pet sitter who would watch our pets when we went out of town, and we just taught them how to do the chickens too at that time. So you can always do that if your chicken sitter's willing. I mean, you're a pet sitter. That's another option. Other ideas on that from anyone?
Our neighbor takes care of our chickens and gets the eggs. So that's kind of, it's a trade-off.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Did you hear that? Chicken sitting for swapping for eggs. There's the payment. That works out really well. Bribe them, feed them. The question was, if you have a chicken coop that is stationary, but you want them to be able to get out, or they need more room during the daytime, what's the best way to, herd them around or keep them in the area you want them to be in? Is that a good way to put it? Multiple strategies. I mean, I guess if it were a daytime pen, I know some people, I'm okay with this. This is going to be a personal preference. One is just let them free range, but have it in an area marked off that doesn't have anything of preciousness. Like if you had a garden, you might have netting or something over it. Mark off the do not disturb areas. And like a baby, make sure there's nothing poisonous out there or something that you don't want. Another would be to have like mobile moving electric fencing or something. And what the electric fencing is not so much to shock the chickens inside, but keep some predator out. And the thing about fencing is you can find that at like, I can picture Tractor Supply or Callahan's, or a lot of places carry that. The nice thing is it's lightweight and it's movable, so it's some way to easily move I guess just set up. You could even do that with some other kind of, maybe deer netting or something too, if you just want a daytime pen. I find you have to always consider your specific area, because if you don't have a lot, like here is great, you have all this coverage, So from the sky, it's less likely that a hawk